All right, Nick. Coming in tonight, a little different scenario, a little different situation. Reds down 8-3. I know that this isn't probably what many Reds fans wants to hear right this second, but this was to be expected. I mean, that's how I feel about it. I'm watching this game, and it's like, okay, very blessed to win the first two.
Feels like one of these games, and I feel like we've had a lot of these this year where we go, well, thank God we won last night.
Yeah, that's the truth. I think we're in a position now where, hey, I mean, it's just one of those games where they actually had some good at bats tonight. They had some chances, Nick, if we're being honest. And I guess one would argue they still have chances. There's 3 outs left. I know I'm well behind.
Now they're bringing the closer back out.
Yeah, he needs some help. He needs some work. He wants to get his confidence back up.
It was a pretty quick outing last night.
That it was. All right, chat. I'm gonna go grab a beverage and I'll be right back. But in the meantime, we need likes. All right, we'll never give up attitude. I hope I come back down here and the bases are juiced. Nobody's out. And Anthony, not Anthony.
Where's
but
Martini at? Where's
Andres
Martini
Munoz.
at?
Yeah, maybe we bat around. Martini's gonna come up and hit a granny. Wouldn't that be something? If that happened, I'd burn my house down.
Oh, leaving me in charge. Terrifying, folks. Honestly, folks should just turn on the Dayton Dragons game. It is a thriller tonight. They're playing a do or die almost game. Their last week of the season, it's been back and forth. They were down, I think, 6-0. They're up 8-7 right now. This fella right here, Noel V. Marte, was down at Dayton not that long ago. Is that good? Is that better, folks? I lose track of who was upset. Everyone is upset in this chat whenever the Reds lose. When they win, everything's perfect. It's a wild way to live, folks. It's a wild way to live. Love you. Mouse Cop, what are you doing here? Are you really that far ahead? Are you trolling me? Oh, he's not trolling me. Get out. Get up. Get up. Get up. You can put it on the board. Yes. There you go, Will. It's good to see. You've been trolling. I think you only had like 1 extra base hit in like 3 weeks. It's a good night. Good night for Will Benson. There we go. It's off A. That's good, man. It's good for his confidence. That's off the Mariners closer. Facing a good starter tonight. Had a double off a really good start. It's good stuff for Will Benson. 3 extra base hits. Hell yeah. Let's go. Rave Damsey. I mean, yeah, if only it was that easy, you know? If only he would have tried when they had the bases loaded. I mean, come on. Baseball's hard. Baseball's hard. These are good pitchers, man. Seems almost 180 games. Yeah, Trace is getting a coffee, and he must be making like the full. He's probably getting some whipped cream on it, you know. Sinnick, when's Petty pitching again? I think he pitched a couple days ago. He's with Chattanooga now, getting them ready for the playoffs, which is funny because Dayton might be there. Although Dayton, man, it's 8-8 now. It's a hell of a game in Dayton tonight. Nick, when are you pitching again? Don't think you want to see me pitch. He's going to need a beer now, not a coffee. Yeah, I mean, we just need, a bloop, a bloop, a bloop, and a blast, right? Andrew, who's pitching this weekend, Abbott on Friday. They're going to go to Spires on Saturday, and Hunter Green's supposed to be back on Sunday. We'll talk about that more at the end. Benson
seen that.
with Oppo Taco.
I seen that. I was watching that.
It's a good night. It's a good night from Will Benson.
It was.
It's good stuff.
Nice to see him. Nice to see him get some confidence back.
It matters. They, you know what? They laughed at me. They laughed at me when I said that Tyler Stevenson home run mattered. They laughed. Who's laughing now, folks? Who's laughing now?
Definitely matters, Nick. I mean, they all matter. Confidence is a real thing. Of course you can say this about any team in any game, but just when you get the hits, man, it's such a big deal, right? It's like you had the bases loaded earlier this game with one out and didn't get anybody in, and Will Benson hits that ball over the fence right there with bases loaded, and it's a different story, but it's how it goes, man.
Tough sport.
Get some good at-bats, man. This offense is starting to look a little more confident.
Call me an optimist, man. The Reds offense has had a good day against the caliber pitchers that they were facing today. These are really, really good pitchers.
I think the Reds offense had a great day today, to be honest. I mean, they had chances. Yeah. It just didn't get – Ellie smoked the ball early in this game. The guy on first, that gets through. I mean, I know it's always a what-if game. You can always play the what-if game. I'm not going to sit here and suggest that, but it's nice. There's a stark difference between tonight and what felt like a week ago, where it was just like, man, They can't get anything going here. So, call me an optimist, I guess, but I think it's just being a realist. Mark's asking if I made a martini. I did not make a martini tonight. I'm gonna have to pull a late night. I gotta do some editing. I gotta turn up, do a show tomorrow, obviously. So I'm drinking coffee. That's what I'm doing. So it is what it is. With as much sugar in it as I can get. Are you a black coffee guy, or do you coffee at all, Nick?
I'm an occasional coffee guy. Occasional, I can't drink it every day, but no, I cannot drink black coffee. Do I look like the kind of guy that drinks black coffee?
I'm not. I'm an equal opportunity giver. I always make sure I give everyone an opportunity. I don't do the stereotype stuff, Nick. I want to make sure that I ask you the question before I assume. So, but no, you don't look like a black coffee guy.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm not.
I used to drink black coffee because it was more out of laziness than anything, if we're being honest.
I was a manager at Starbucks for a while. One of the worst jobs I've ever had.
I worked at Starbucks too.
No way.
Wow.
Hey.
What a wild thing we just found out. Game's over. Reds lose 8-4. But Nick and Trace both worked at Starbucks before. Let's do a show. All right, Nick. Welcome to a losing edition of Chatterbox Reds. The Reds lose to the Seattle Mariners 8-4. It's their only second loss against the AL West. So shout out to that. Today, it's what is today? It's a Wednesday in Cincinnati and a Sunday in Oakland. That's all it was. And you know what? Today felt a little bit better than the Sunday in Oakland. So I'm gonna tell you what, chat, and you, Nick. I'm bringing positive vibes. I'm feeling pretty good. I know that we lost. I know that's not how it usually isn't supposed to go, but call me a what do they call it? They call you a pushover. What else do you get called? A bootlicker. What else do I get called? It's like a loser's mentality. I guess I have a loser's mentality tonight. It's A-okay. Offense looked decent. We'll get into it. There's a box score recap, but Nick, I can already tell you're feeling okay too.
Yeah, I mean, a good series from the Reds, just crummy night, but I think there's definitely some positives with the offense. You know, the way they swung the bats against some really, really good pitchers tonight. Starting pitcher Logan Gilbert for the Mariners was absolutely rolling coming to the game. Had one of the worst starts he's had in a couple months against the Reds. Reds got, Will Benson at a home run off the Mariners closer, the AL reliever of the month in August. So look, I think there's some positives to take away from it. Good week for the Reds. And 20 games to play at this point. It's every game the rest of the way. It's going to be, really just try to get to that magic 84, 85, 86 win mark.
That it is. And listen, tonight they had chances. They really did. I'm sure as we go through the box score recap here in just a moment that they're you could make the case that they were in this game. It might not feel like it when you look at the box score and you see that it was an 8-4 final, but they had chances. And, are they going to come through every single time? Of course they're not. What do you really expect to a certain extent out of this, not only the bullpen, but more or less these guys are just getting thrown into the fire from a starting pitching perspective. So I know, again, does this seem sustainable? It doesn't, but I think we're going to get some cavalry on the way. I think we're going to get some help soon. I'm begging for it. Let's get into it. Let's do the box score recap, and then we'll talk about a few things, and obviously talk about what's next, as always.
All right, well, believe it or not, Reds did take a 1-0 lead in the first inning on a TJ Friedl triple, then a Spencer Steer single. But the Mariners scored 7 unanswered off Lyon Richardson, who gave up 3 home runs. The Reds got a couple runs back later in the game, but Reds end up falling 8-4. Reds now 73-69 on the season. And the Reds got pretty much no help today. I guess maybe you could call the Cubs helping the Reds. But the Cubs hold the second wildcard spot. They now have a 4-game cushion. Marlins did leapfrog the Reds. Marlins have won 6 in a row. So the Reds are tied with the Diamondbacks. Reds and Diamondbacks a half game behind the Marlins. Giants sitting 2.5 back. But the Marlins, of course, Trace, we've talked about. Does it mean everything? No, but they by far have the most difficult schedule. So if there's one team you wanted to be behind, probably the team you want. They also just got a ton of bad news today.
Yeah, bad
Sandy
news.
Alcantara going on the IL. Jorge Soler, their big home run hitter, going on the IL. So they're kind of limping through September, kind of like the Reds have been doing here for the last season.
Yeah, I don't feel a damn bit sorry for them. They're getting a little taste of our own medicine to a small extent. Let's get into this. Lyon, I'll tell you what about him. I'm encouraged by what I see, man. I really am. This kid has good stuff. I did think Stevenson, and I don't mean to get into like the nuts and bolts of the game too much here. I hate to get into the weeds because I feel like sometimes it's just a little monotonous and a little boring. But on a night like tonight, I'll do it for a second. I was watching this game, and again, I'm not killing Stevenson by any means by saying this. I don't want people to take it the wrong way, but I did feel like they were getting a little too cute with the concept of trying to throw these fastballs a little above the zone to try to get these guys to chase a little too often. I don't think Richardson's command is that good enough to be able to flirt with the concept of trying to throw high fastballs consistently. Every so often, I'm cool with it. But it just felt like Stevenson or whoever was calling the pitches, I'm assuming it's Tyler, they just he kept asking for that elevated fastball. And Nick, that's all good and well until you miss, 4 or 5 inches below where you're aiming. And it's a middle up fastball that those guys were hitting really, really hard. I actually thought he had good command of his changeup tonight. I thought he had good command of his breaking ball tonight. And obviously his fastball is pretty electric and get up to 99 miles an hour. I don't hate that. It's just I just kind of wish that we would have stuck maybe with the off speed a little bit more. But you know what? To be honest, I hate even being that critical of the minute stuff like that, because it's so easy to watch a game and then do the Monday morning quarterback with what pitch they should have called after the fact because you've seen the result. So, again, I guess that's the only takeaway I had that I was a little upset about, was just I thought that they got a little too cute with trying to throw those fastballs up. And I'm not saying that shouldn't be a part of the game plan at all, Nick, but I guess kill me, tell me I'm an idiot, say I'm stupid for thinking that Lyon Richardson's pretty damn good. I get that he probably doesn't have the line that makes it seem that way, but when I watch him throw, there's something there.
No, I agree completely. I mean, I think it's kind of some of the Hunter Green we saw, where you have to kind of work through some things. Lyon Richardson's a guy that only gave up 2 home runs in his entire time in the minor leagues this year. So this is valuable experience for him, because I know the broadcasts have talked about it over and over again, so I won't belabor the point. But Lyon's able to get away with so much more in the minor leagues. You come to the majors and you go, oh, hey, I have to be a lot sharper than I was at Louisville, at Chattanooga, at Daytona. And I think these are valuable innings for him. I hope we don't have to see another start of him this year, but I still think he can absolutely has the potential to be a piece for the Reds down the road. I almost would kind of like to see the Reds keep him up here and maybe use him as like a reliever, maybe like 2 inning spurts, in the bullpen. I think he's probably better than, some of the other guys that they might use. I think he could get away with a little bit more this season. But I also like if it comes down to, with all due respect, as much as Carson Spires really gave a great performance on Sunday, I still think I'd rather see Lyon than like Spires again or someone like that. So I don't want to say I'm like completely against it, but I would prefer them not to have to start him again.
Of course, we'd prefer not to start many of these guys that would just get caught up. I mean, and I'm not trying to say that as a joke and demeaning to you, but it's the truth. It's just one of those things where we got to play the hand we're dealt. You got to start somebody, and that's who we have. And unfortunately, like it or not, it's I keep saying the same things over and over again, but God's honest truth, like this team, without getting the production they got out of Hunter Green and Nick Lodolo, it's a joke. It's a joke that we're in the position we are. But here we are, and fortunately, the Reds have kind of been able to piece this thing together, Frankenstein it together, put Band-Aids on stuff from here and there, and been able to stop the bleeding just enough until we get some more help. So we'll see if we can do it again. I guess my last point with Lyon is this: is like, I do think that some people overreact with results. I'm not suggesting for 1 second that you should go and you should tell everybody that Lyon Richardson's going to be a Cy Young winner or something like that. But like, do you ever just watch the game and think, I can work with this? Like, this guy can be something. I don't know what it is. Maybe he ends up being a setup guy. Maybe he ends up being a closer. Maybe worst case scenario ends up being a middle of the road type guy. But when you watch him throw the ball, and I know I'm being a little like pessimistic to some other guys on the team. I don't mean that. Derek Law doesn't deserve the ricochet shot I'm about to throw him here. But like, when you watch Lyon throw the ball and you watch Derek Law pitch, do you really think to yourself that Lyon can't be Derek Law? Like, the stuff is there. It's a matter of putting the stuff together. And if you can't see that, then that's fine. And maybe you say I'm an idiot, but and I see people in the chat overreact to results with a big question mark. Bro, the guy just got to the big leagues. He got rushed to the major leagues. This guy's not ready to pitch in the big leagues yet. Okay? If you want to go kill Connor Phillips, you want to say he sucks too because of the results? Oh, look, Connor Phillips, he threw 5 innings the other day, gave up 4 runs. He sucks. Throw him into the pen. He's not going to be worth a shit. At some point, can we just relax a little bit on some of these guys? It doesn't have to be so tooth and nail about, oh my gosh, he gave up a home run tonight. Okay, he gave up a home run. He missed a couple pitches. The Mariners, I hate to break it to you, they're pretty good. They're pretty good. Go look them up. They're a pretty good team. Like, this isn't the Pirates we're playing. We're not playing the Rockies here. So, kill me for being optimist. Kill me for saying that I think Lionel Richardson's going to be pretty okay, because he is. But that's how I feel about it. That's how I feel about it. I think Lionel Richardson will be just fine. Just fine. Reds offense, where else do you want to go?
Yeah, I mean, just the last point is you just have to remember, like, Lions started the year in Daytona. Like the year that he's had is incredible. He has no business pitching in the big leagues this year. The fact that he was able to get all the way through the system, and the fact that he's helped this team. He helped this team on Friday night against the Cubs. Came out, looked awful in the first inning, but reeled it in, gave the team a chance, and when they were absolutely desperate. And yeah, I'm excited about this guy's future.
Yeah. Reds offense, let's do it. They look a lot better. I think that they're going to be this team is what they're a roller coaster. Okay, I don't know what this offense is going to bring on a daily basis because, quite frankly, they have so many inconsistent players that when I say inconsistent doesn't mean I don't think that they're good, just means that they're inconsistent. Will Benson, maybe he's back on track. Will Benson's, I don't know, was arguably one of the best players on this team for a month. Could we get him back somewhat close to what he was earlier in this year? Maybe so. Tyler Stevenson continues to look good, and that's a positive sign. I don't know. Tonight they could have scored 8-9 runs. I mean, Nick, I don't know if you have the box score right in front of you, but how many hits did they pound out tonight?
10.
10 hits. Man, 10 hits. So,
and if you're looking at a stat like expected batting average, which is certainly a stat that has its flaws. I'm not going to sit here and say it's a perfect stat, but the Reds' expected batting average tonight was 240. The Mariners was 250. So, it was just I'm with you. I think the Reds' offense looks pretty good right now. They had a ton of hard hit balls. Everyone outside of Jake Fraley had a hard hit ball tonight, and I think we all feel pretty good about Jake Fraley. So yeah, I mean, I think the offense is looking good. I'm excited, a little anxious, but excited about an opportunity for the Reds to face a Cardinals pitching staff that's not very good. That's where I think we'll really be able to see where's this offense at, because this is the kind of offense that I think should be able to go out and score a lot of runs off the Cardinals. Now, maybe you'll clip me up on Sunday and say, Nick, you're an idiot, and maybe I am. But I that's where I think is a really good gauge this weekend to see where's this offense at. Your home ballpark against a lot of bad pitchers. This is where you need to come and beat this team around a little bit.
Nick, it doesn't take us long to go back a couple weeks to remember where we were at, right? This team, they traveled out west. They had a 3-game set against the Angels. Then they had to turn around and they played the Diamondbacks for a 4-game set. They had to play the Giants for a 3-game set. And I get the Giants aren't very good right now, but these are all pretty solid teams. They come back home. They have to play the Cubs, and they have to play the Mariners. They played about as well as you could have asked without begging, and they've given themselves a chance. And now it's a matter of feasting on the schedule that we've been talking about for about a month now, right? It's here. It's finally here. We've been talking about it for a while, Nick. We've been saying, hey, if you can just get to September, look at the schedule. It's here. Will they sweep every team? Probably not. But if they continue to mount up and win series, these other teams that we're chasing and or competing with for this last wild card spot are going to have to play each other. And the Marlins are the only team that, quite frankly, doesn't have to play a ton of teams that we're chasing, but what they do have to play is a bunch of good teams. And you know what? I'll put my hand up right now and say that if the Reds can play 500 or a little bit better than 500, maybe a couple games above 500 baseball for the rest of the way out, I would make the argument that I'll put my hand up and just say whoever beats us had earned it. They had to earn it because they had to win some games they probably weren't supposed to win. If the Marlins end up taking it, they end up beating us, then they had earned it. I think this offense, as you had mentioned, it's starting to look as if it's I don't want to say back because that's a strong word, but I think it's in a position now where I feel comfortable moving forward. There for about a 2 or 3 week window, though, it did feel like, Nick, if we gave up more than 3 runs, the game was over. So it's nice to have that somewhat of a feeling back that we always have a chance to come back. Speaking of coming back, Jonathan India. Where are we at? What do we know?
Well, they reported on the broadcast that he's going to try to start rehab games on Friday with Louisville. So I mean, they had said before it probably needs at least 5 rehab games, which I think tracks, based on how long he's been out. But you start doing the math. He could be back Mets series, or maybe the Reds would hold off. They come back home on the 18th against the Twins, so that could give him 1, 2, 3, 4, the last 4 series of the year. I mean, we'll see where the Reds are at then. I don't want to be like, well, right now there's not a per se spot for him because things change so quickly. But if it was coming back tomorrow, I'd say I'd probably platoon him with Jake Fraley because I'm not taking Novi Marte out. And I mean, I guess you could maybe put him a little bit and move Steer around. And I don't know, though. I mean, unless he goes to AAA and just lights the world on fire. That's an option, too. You're going to kind of have to see how he looks. And then, does like Noelvi Marte just go ice cold?
Yeah.
It's really going to be one of those things.
No, there's a spot for Jonathan India, okay? Where it's at might have to be a little unique. I think that we're going to have to probably be in a position where Spencer Steer is a guy that certainly could use a day off from time to time. And if we're being completely honest, it all depends on Jonathan India's health. How comfortable is he when he comes back? Is he actually fully ready to go, or is he still going to have a little bit of a nagging injury, but he's just going to fight through it, a la Jake Fraley, a little bit because he wants to be out there and he's sat out for so long? I would assume he's 100% when he comes back. I'm not trying to speculate. But I think some of that will depend on, whether he DHs a good amount of the time or perhaps he slides in at second base and then you kind of, give Marte a day off every so often. Ellie gets a day off every so often. And I know people that will probably be vividly upset if they get too many days off, but they'll find a way. Jonathan India will find a way back if he's actually healthy and ready to go. So I'm not overly concerned about it. I do think that this chat is a little out there tonight. I mean, sometimes this chat, man. I mean, God love you. We have, like I said, I've told you this before. This is an elite community. But my only thing is like, hey, let's calm down a little bit. Let's calm down a little bit. We're not going to win out. We know that we're not going to win out. Let's not act like the sky is falling every time the Reds lose. Perhaps you could be frustrated, I guess, tonight, but sometimes I wonder what we're expecting. All right. Is there anything that you want to get to before we get into some Reds MILB?
No, I mean this is just one of those games where I don't think you make a big deal out of. I think it is what it is. You took care of business on Monday and Tuesday. You afforded yourself the opportunity to make this game not that big of a deal, and you move on. And there's a big series coming up this weekend. This is a series you don't need to go out and sweep. Like get that out of here. Like you don't ever go out and say we got to sweep another Major League Baseball team because that's unrealistic. But this is a series you need to win the series. You need to win the series against the Cardinals. That's the gist of it. If you can't win the series against the Cardinals, well, you're going to start getting yourself in a position where you probably don't deserve to make the postseason. And I'm not going to say this one series defines everything because, you can make up for it later and all that kind of stuff. But this is the kind of series that, you need to take care of business. You're at home. You got to find a way.
Yeah, and they will. Let's do some Reds MILB and let's do what's next. And then I'm going to talk to the chat.
All right, give me 1 second here.
All right.
If you
want me, I can buy you some time. You know how this goes. All right, there's some people in the chat, and listen, I get it. I'm not here to say that you're right or wrong. One thing you're going to learn about me, if you don't already, is that I can have rational and reasonable conversations. In fact, I can be convinced of a different opinion. If you present me evidence that I feel like is better than the evidence that I've currently accrued over my life, and I can kind of rationalize it, and it makes sense, and it quite frankly supersedes what I personally felt before, I can change my mind. I'm willing to do that. I also think that there's a plethora of different things that are going on in here about, and you know what? Some of it's just chat. You're having fun. I get all that. I'm not trying to suggest, that you're right or I'm wrong or this, that, and the other. But like the idea of again, old Sparky here. Love you, old Sparky. But you're asking me every time we lose, you say the same thing. I don't know what you're expecting. Well, I guess every time I lose, you don't watch the show because there's times I come on here and I'm screaming and yelling into this microphone, telling you how bad of decisions they made, this, that, and the next. But I'm also authentic. I'm not going to sit here and make up something. If I don't believe it, I'm certainly not going to spew lies into the microphone and sit here and act one way when I don't feel that way. I'll leave that to other people. I'm not doing that. If you think for 1 second tonight that this team should have won the game or this team blew it or they weren't prepared or this, that, and the other, then we just don't watch baseball the same way. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay to agree to disagree with you. All right? This isn't a pissing match of who's right and wrong. I don't care about that. I could care less. But I am going to suggest that if you watch this game tonight and you felt like this is ridiculous, the Reds didn't win, and you're mad about it, and you're all pissed off, then we probably just aren't the same. We don't have the same neurons firing, okay? Our brain cells don't work the same way. Because when I watched the game tonight, it felt like, to a certain extent, we had a guy going out there that is relatively new to the big leagues. He's feast or famine, if you want to be honest. He could have a great outing, but he could also go out there and give up 8 runs in the first inning. And that's just what happened. You had a young guy throw. He gave up some runs, gave up some home runs. You want to go out there and throw high leverage bullpen arms out there when you're down 6-1 or whatever the score was? Probably not. That seems like a terrible idea. You want to get me fired up? You want me to come down here and start screaming and yelling in the microphone about David Bell? Go out there and burn through all of your bullpen that to try to save a 6-1 lead or deficit, I should say. We won 2 of 3. If you want to be mad at me because I'm happy about that, be mad at me. I don't give a rat's ass. All right, Nick, go ahead.
I think I need to go find whatever the Chatterbox Braves podcast is. If they lose tonight to the Cardinals, which it looks like they're about to, maybe that'll give me some better perspective of what you expect after some of these ugly losses that just happened. But oh well, Reds MILB presented by Betfred Sportsbook. All right, Louisville, they lost 13-8 tonight to St. Paul. That team, that's the Twins affiliate, they have absolutely beat Louisville around this year. But Alex Young made his first rehab game, pitched a scoreless inning, perfect inning, 1 strikeout, so that's good to see. Levi Stout was only used 2 innings. Not sure if there's anything to this, Trace. He's been used mostly as a starter, pitched 2 perfect innings, 2 strikeouts. Maybe the Reds are thinking at this point in the year, maybe they're trying to limit his innings. I don't know. Maybe he could be an option as a reliever. We know he does have some talent. Our good old friend Kevin Newman did walk twice, his second rehab game. And then Jose Barrero, he's kind of limping to the finish. You wonder if Barrero kind of getting passed over as kind of got to his head a little bit, which honestly it would be hard to blame him for that. Double-A, Chattanooga, they lost 3-2. Not a whole lot going on. Matt Nelson, the catching prospect, did hit his first home run. He's got 19 on the year, but it was his first home run at the Double-A level. There is a thrilling game going on right now. Dragons are tied 8-8 with Fort Wayne. The Dragons are 2 games behind Fort Wayne for the second half playoff spot. There is a team in between the two, but this is the final series for High A. Edwin Arroyo has 2 doubles. South Stewart's 2 for 4. Carlos Jorge hit a grand slam in this game and absolutely crushed it. But Trace, you have to see the video on Twitter. So Jorge hits this home run, and the Fort Wayne Tin Caps pitcher puts his hand up in the air like it's like a fly ball or something, and the home run was 430 feet. It was an instant classic. But I do got some notes here on the Tortugas. I feel like I've kind of left them out to dry a little bit of late, so I kind of did a little research tonight. So I don't know, love it or hate it. They won 9-4 over St. Lucie. Cam Collier was 2 for 3, walked twice. Good to see him finishing the year strong. Ricardo Cabrera, this is the Reds' number 9 ranked prospect. Second game since getting promoted, just kind of end out the year. 3 for 6 tonight, so good to see. Ethan O'Donnell, this guy has been on fire. He was a 6th-round pick this summer. 2 for 4, hit his 3rd home run. He's hitting .382 with an 1,100 OPS in 20 games so far for Daytona. Carlos Sanchez, he's a top 25 prospect. He made his debut tonight. He was 0 for 4. I think he's like the 24th. He's a young kid shortstop. And then last but not least, Graham Osmond. He was the 10th round pick of the Reds this summer. Graham had a great day today. Struck out 7 batters, no walks, but he struck out 4 batters in 1 inning. So that's a pretty cool day.
Shout out catcher.
And you know what? When you strike out 4 batters in an inning, you're getting mentioned on Chatterbox Reds. I feel like it's you have to, right?
Well, yeah, it requires a either a really, really bad pitch that a guy swings at, or the catcher not being able to block a ball. But we're here for it. We're here for it. All right, what's next? What's next is important. You know why? Because at the end of the day, that's all that matters is what's next, people. Right? This is over. Done, lost. It's already in the lost column. You can't change it. We move on. Who, what, when, where, and why.
Yeah, I won't go into too much detail about Friday's matchups. We will be doing a podcast. That'll be on Friday morning, so go a little bit more in detail. But for the series, it's going to be, at least the Reds have said they hope it will be. They haven't for sure defined it, but it'll be Abbott on Friday, Carson Spires on Saturday, Hunter Green. He was back with the Reds today, first day back. I guess he was, sick in San Francisco, stayed in San Francisco, didn't come back with the team. So they're hoping to have him on Sunday. Reds, and this is some good matchups on Friday and Saturday. Drew Rom and Zach Thompson. I mean, they're pretty much filler guys right now for the Cardinals with kind of where they're at. Miles Michaelis has had an up and down season, but the Reds have hit him pretty well of late. So this is a series, you got to find a way to win this series. I think they will. I mean, I feel good about it. And Trace.
What?
So the Cardinals play tomorrow
as
well. So that's good.
It is good.
If the Cardinals were to lose tomorrow,
yes,
the Reds would have a chance this weekend if they swept the Cardinals to clinch the Cardinals' first losing season since 2007.
Hate to hear that. Don't forget, folks, the Cardinals were supposed to win the NL Central. And they were actually favored to win the NL Central, I'm pretty sure, like 3/4 through May. Could be wrong about that, but just a reminder. Imagine being a Cardinals fan. That would stink. I don't know, Nick. I think
or folks.
You know what I think, Nick? You want to get the chat going? I'll get the chat going. You know what I think? I think they just need to take one. I think that if they can just get one game, in St. Louis, keep it moving.
It's in Cincinnati.
Oh, it's Cincinnati. I'm sorry. That's right. It's a homestand. St. Louis is at the end of the year. Looked at that schedule 1,000 times.
You know who's gonna have a big series, and they got a lefty. You got a lefty on Friday night. Harrison Bader. Oh, it's Bader season.
I love the people in the chat that get it. There's a certain amount of people that know, that watch this show, understand what we're doing here, and there's a certain amount of people that are going to just want to kill us, and that's fine. But I'm just telling you, one game. That's what the Reds need this series. That's what we need, one game, and we'll keep it moving, right? That's what we do. Here's the thing, folks. You're here. This is a loyal chat. I know that. As much as you guys might want to go to arms with each other sometimes. Kill's a strong word. I don't want to say you want to kill each other. That's too strong of a word. But you certainly wouldn't mind getting into the octagon right now. There's some people in here that are all about it. I find this relatively entertaining that somehow, some way, we find a way to bicker about the funniest things. I guess that's what families do, and I guess that's what this is as a family. So here we are, 140 plus people deep on a losing edition of Chatterbox Reds. Nick, you got one final thing to say before we get off here and call it a night?
Well, I want to go all the way through the lineup here, all right? And I want us to think back to when the Reds were in San Francisco. and how we felt about these guys. Do you feel better about Jake Fraley now than you did then?
Well, yeah.
He wasn't even playing.
Correct.
TJ Friedel. Do you feel better about him now than you did then?
Yes.
Maybe slightly. Right?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Spencer Steer. I mean, he's kind of been
same all year
steady.
long. Yep.
Sure as hell feel better about Ellie than you felt then, right?
Correct.
Nick Martini. Yeah, I mean, I think we feel better about CES than we felt going into that San Francisco series.
Of course we do.
Do we feel better about Tyler Stevenson than we felt going to that series?
Of course we do.
Do we feel better about Noelvi Marte?
Yeah. Yeah, he's had some good games of late.
And Will Benson had 3 extra base hits tonight. That's the whole freaking lineup we feel better about. Every single one of them, they're all starting to click, and they're about to go beat the shit out of the St. Louis Cardinals. Let's go, Trace.
Let's go. Let's go. We only need one, though. Don't forget, we only need one. I'm all here for it. We're gonna take it. We're gonna find a way to take the series. We only need one. Yash.
Whoa.
Yash coming in here with a super chat with his pound money. Yash, that's very nice of you, man. Seriously, it's very nice of you. You're loyal. We have so many people that are loyal to this show, loyal to us, and I can't tell you how much we appreciate that. 20 pounds. That's like probably, I don't know, $100. It's a joke.
25.
It's a joke.
20.
Okay.
Yeah. It's more though.
I know it is.
Credit.
Don't bring that up too much. We don't want to remind everybody that the dollar is lesser of a value. Okay, let's not do that. My grandpa would be rolling in his grave right now if he knew that the dollar was less of value than the pound. But that's all right. That's okay. That's okay. It's all right. We won't get into it. Oh my God, dude. All right, seriously, that's enough super chats, people. Okay, we got to get off here, and you're gonna start making me feel a certain kind of way again. All right, Michael Rolfe with the $50 super chat, brother. Michael, I'm gonna get you a rolling ad on this show. The Reds lost, but you can't win them all. Let's keep this energy because the Reds stole the last 2 from the hotter than the sun. The freaking Sun Mariners. Highway robbery. Grand theft auto by the Reds this series. You know what, Michael? You're right. And we also did some grand theft robbery of the Cubs, if we're being honest. Rolf.
The Cubs who just swept the Giants.
Yes.
Embarrassed the Giants.
They did embarrass the Giants. And I'm going to tell you something. This isn't something that we need to pass along to Reed Mouse, okay? But the Cubs are pretty good, okay? They're pretty good. I'd prefer not to play them, okay? So we're going to root for the Brewers. We want the Brewers. I'm not scared of the Cubs. Don't get it twisted, okay? Don't get it twisted. Let's get back on track. I'm not scared of the Cubs. But what I am suggesting is I want the Brewers. Don't forget it. I want the Brewers. And that's as simple as it can get. Yash, thank you for the super chat. Michael, thank you for the super chat. We had some super chats last night that we didn't get to that I feel terrible about. You might be able to find them, Nick. I don't know. Off the top of your head, if you can find them, I don't know. But anyways, we had a couple super chats last night that we failed to get to at the end of the show. But I just want to say thank you again for, quite frankly, supporting us more than anything. I know we all love the Reds. I know times it's not as fun of a show as others. I get that. But you guys always show up. We have some real true OGs in this place. And I'm going to tell you, we appreciate you more times than not. Nick, anything final before we break off?
Kerry asked my thoughts on the upcoming series with the Cardinals. Kerry, if you hit rewind a little bit, I said we should beat the shit out of them. So I guess there's that. No, I mean, in all seriousness, I think the Reds, you look at the series, 2 of the 3 matchups, I mean, the Reds have a clear advantage, in my opinion, with
of course,
Abbott against a guy that the Cardinals have picked up off waivers. Hunter Green, I still feel better about him than Miles Michaelis. Now, granted, he's coming back off a sickness. There's maybe some concern there, but Saturday's, I guess, the toss-up. You have 2, pretty bad pitchers. Although their guy Thompson has been pitching pretty well. But I mean, this is a series that sets up well for the Reds. This series, you got to find a way to win. You got to find a way to win this series. We can get cute about other things, but Yeah, this would be.
You still got to play the games, though, too. Like, let's not sit here. And I mean, you still got to play the games. You have to win the games. It's not like this is just a rollover series that the Cardinals are automatically going to lose 2 or 3 or get swept. That's not going to happen. But this team's playing well. They're starting to play a little bit better, Nick. I like our chances, just like you had mentioned. And hopefully if it's a chance for this offense to get back on track the way it has already gotten back on track, and they can start piling on a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, the Cardinals also, I mean, you look at their lineup, they only have like 4 guys that are pretty much like what you would call like established big leaguers. And I'm not going to include Tyler O'Neill in that because he's been hurt so much. He's trying to get back on track. They have a lot of guys that are trying to basically earn starting spots for next season, which honestly sometimes that can be a little harder than like the Miami Marlins playing the LA Dodgers, who really have nothing to play for at this point. Both the last 2 games, the Dodgers, they weren't even going to their best relievers. They're kind of able, they don't have to. They have that luxury because they built it up. So there can be some disadvantages to playing some of these weaker teams that have guys that are hungry, teams that were what we thought the Reds were going to be. Right. In September, we thought we'd be saying, "Oh well, I'm going to see what Noelvi Marte can do here in September." That's what a lot of these other teams the Reds are playing are trying to figure out themselves.
Yep. All right. Well, you know what I'll say. When this chat is elite. This chat is elite when the haters show up, and some of the haters are in here full-fledged. If you ain't hating. If you ain't got haters, they said on Hard Knocks, like I said before, if you ain't got haters, you ain't popping. So appreciate them. Appreciate all of you. As always, this is Chatterbox Reds. I'm going to tell you once. I'll tell you till you're blue in the face. I don't give a damn what's going on in regards to what other people think or care about. Nick, you want to promo this? It's the Miracle Walk. Help raise funds September 18th, NuxallMiracleLeague.org. That is the one and only, the Hamiltonian, Joe Nuxall. They will be on podcast form. We'll have a little bit more on that on the podcast version. If you want to hear about it, check it out. Until then, do me a favor. Go check out these other shows. Give them a like. Okay, help them out. Mac and JT, they're doing a little NFL show on Wednesdays if you care about that. And then you got the C-Box Clicker on Tuesdays. We got shows like every damn night around here. I don't know what the hell's going on, quite frankly. Chatterbox Bengals, post-game show. We got Off the Bench. We got the chatter. We got so much stuff. I don't know what's going on. I know this beat's about to hit, and I'm going to have to send you off on your merry way. And there's only one way I know how to do it, and that is go Reds. By God, it's America's team. Believe it.